And Chris, as a management expert, what are some of the top three soft skills required to be a great manager or to become a great leader?
I think listening has to be there as the top skill for everything, actually. Selling, negotiating, managing people. I think listening is so key. You don't have to always do everything that people want. Find out how they tick. Find out what will motivate. What do they want? And then maybe you can give them what they want some of the time at least. So I think listening has to be the number one skill. Delegating is probably the second most important thing. If I look at my customers, they divide into the ones who can delegate and the ones who can't. So some people hire me in to do a training course and then they start to interfere and they go, are you going to cover this? And show me a program. And why are you doing that? And I'm thinking, look, you've paid me quite a lot to come in and do this. And now you're trying to tell me how to do my job. You're only going to make it worse and annoy me by doing that. So let me do it. It's really interesting to see who can delegate and who can't. And the people who can't delegate, you can't even get hold of them because they're too busy somewhere else interfering with somebody else to talk to you, you know? So I think learning to delegate is really important and actually quite difficult. I interfere in other people all the time because, I've got opinions on what I want and I don't entirely trust them and I think I could do it better and all these reasons we have for not letting go. So I think to learn to delegate is really hard and to think, okay, they're going to do it only 80 as well as me. That's what we think, isn't it? We tell ourselves, but that's fine. It's good enough. And that last 20% is only in my mind anyway. So I think delegating, learning to let go is really key. So listening, delegating. And I think my third one would probably be thanking people, because most bosses, they just don't thank people very often. And they'll say things like, well, you're being paid to do it. You want thanks as well? And I'll say, yes, I do actually. Or they'll say, well, I'll tell you if I'm not happy. And thanking just has such a big effect on people. They love it when they're thanked. I saw a bit of footage recently. There was a bloke on an aeroplane and they were secretly filming him. And it turned out he was a trainer who trained pilots. So when the pilot did his announcement, he said, well, welcome to the flight. We'll be flying at 30,000 feet on our way to Cairo. And I'd like to say a word of thanks to a particularly important person who's on the flight today. And they showed this guy and he had no idea what was going on. And then they gradually revealed who he was. So the pilot was saying, I want to thank him because he changed my life. He taught me how to fly. And thanks to him, we're all flying in this plane today. And then all the air hostesses came up the aisle with flowers and champagne for this guy. And it was the most fantastic emotional moment. And the pilot came back, and I suppose the plane was flying on autopilot. I don't know. But he actually came back and shook the guy's hand and everybody clapped. And it was fantastic. And so thanking can be a really powerful thing, really powerful. And most bosses never thank anybody, even though it's free, it's quick, and it's really powerful. So I think to make sure you thank everyone who works for you at least once a week for a real thing they've done. And you might think, well, that means I've got to know what they're doing. Well, yes, you do have to know what they're doing. But if you can find something good to thank everybody for individually once a week, then I think you'll have loyalty forever and it's free. So I would say listening, delegating, and thanking would be my big three things if I could have only three.
Wonderful.